Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Saturday Discussion Series. It is April 13th, 2019, and today we will be talking about a lighter subject, and that is the culture change surrounding YouTube. Now, there's two things that I need to address in regards to culture change. Originally, it was supposed to be one subject regarding this issue. But most recently, it has been brought to my attention that a familiar person on this platform has rejoined his alliances. And this person is Jason Anthony Pinero. Back on Thursday, April 11th, Mr. Pinero was at the customer conversation meeting at Atlantic Terminal. And the best thing came out of it. Passengers United, along with MTA Prodigy and Matt Camper, all came to an agreement, settled their past differences, and now have become a combined union. This channel wants to be a part of this combined union because we have one goal, and that is creating a fair MTA for everyone. A fair MTA must have open-minded discussions. Everything should not be off the table. I, for one, am very happy that differences have been settled. And hopefully, there will be no more controversy ever again. That's what I'm hoping for. But things are looking up. That's the main thing. It's time to put the past behind us. And this is the next part that I need to discuss with you all. Now that the combined union has re-strengthened, we must also talk about a different issue outside of that. And that is, of course, the content that we are producing that could be giving a negative image. Now, outside of the bickering of what happened in the past couple of months, the other issue is, of course, the language that we use. Now, the language that I have used and many other channels here have been, frankly, I would say, not acceptable. And this has come from two other YouTubers before the combined union re-strengthened. And that was MTA Prodigy and Passengers United, who have brought to me in the past month that the way that we are describing people who live along the block, and I'm going to call it the block, between Merrick and Massapequa Park. The way that we have been calling these people, frankly, is not acceptable in terms of YouTube AdSense. Now, frankly, I could really care less about that because, again, this channel gets funded through other sources that, again, if I say, I'll get into legal problems and I don't want to have a discussion with my lawyer. But, on the other hand, other channels might be seeing the AdSense go down. And particularly, demonetized as well. And more importantly, the ratings go down as well. And sometimes, even other channels can spew other negative feelings towards another person's negative feelings. The language that was used to describe these people along the South Shore, once again, was very unacceptable. And the right term I would like to use for these people, there's two words I like to say. Selfish, number one. I think that's the right term to use, but the most appropriate one I have come up with, and hopefully many people will agree with these people who again, don't want to open up. Again, they're closed-minded individuals. Okay? They don't want to open their minds to culture or other people or sharing, as I like to call it, which is the third offensive thing I would like to say about these people. I am very annoyed that they think that they can literally say, oh, you're not a town resident? Too bad, you can't park here. Or how, again, they see someone different, they'll just label them, and then they'll just say, oh, this isn't what we want to associate with. And I think that's very unacceptable. Very, very unacceptable. And that's why, again, these people, and I'm going to use this term from now on when I call them out, again, close-minded individuals. Because they do not have an open mind when it comes to acceptance. I, for one, again, am in, as an example, an open mind. Recently, due to the Asian community influencing my area, I have actually learned from a couple of my neighbors the reason why they hang their clothes is because they save money on energy. And I agree with them in a way. Especially how it is interesting that I have seen in the past, I think, 2 years, that my neighbors save money in the summer by putting their clothes out. And I agree with them on that. And I've told them how, if you want energy just for your washing machine, I'm fine with that. And for one, I'm frankly kind of annoyed that energy bills keep going up thanks to our humid summers. But I accept culture. Alright? I've learned about not just Asian culture, but other cultures over the years. And, these people along the South Shore just don't want to educate themselves. And that's why they're closed-minded individuals, because, again, all they care about is themselves. They don't want to open up. They don't want to feel educated. And this is coming from somebody who dropped out of college, okay? So, pay attention now. I, again, want to keep using this dialogue because an open discussion about how we must change as a culture needs to start. I, for one, am very worried that within the next month, well, this month, right, what am I saying? Within the next 9 months, excuse me. Wow, my train of thought just went off for a second because I'm thinking about a scary thought, guys, and that is we're entering a brand new decade in 9 months. Think about that. It's April, and before you know it, we'll be in the 2020s, alright? I have thought in the next decade that as a society, we must advance and learn about opening up to other diverse people in this world. I'm very worried that this trend along the South Shore may continue, and I want it to stop. And I want people to open up and learn that we must be fair to other people, no matter on the basis of sex or race. And especially how last year, I still can't stop thinking about that racist incident that happened on the Babylon branch, where that lady was talking on her phone, and that closed-minded individual stage manager, who probably is one of the last few blue-collar guys on the South Shore, made fun of that lady. All because, again, she was different than him. This needs to stop. And I'm afraid in the next decade, this may continue. I'm very worried about that. You know, I've wondered how far we've come in 9 years as a society. And unfortunately, as the decade turned, it seems that things got worse. You know, I'm just worried that if we continue to behave like this, then nothing will get accomplished, nothing will get done, and I, for one, do not want to see that. And, you know, I'm afraid that if we keep acting like this, then history will just once again repeat itself, where all these other people who use hurtful words to put people down, intimidate them, make them feel depressed, make them feel anxious. I don't want this behavior to continue when the next decade comes. I really don't. I'm very afraid of that, everyone. I'm afraid what's going to happen. And I know I'm rambling on, but I want our culture to change. I want our environment to change. On here on YouTube, and especially, again, not just on the South Shore, but in New York State as a whole. We must learn for ourselves. Because right now, we're not aware of what's going on. We see what's going on in the middle of the island. We see what's going on the subways lately. We see what's going on with the changing demographic on the South Shore. I want everything to be fair and equal. Blue and white collar should mix. Should. I, for one, just want to see things change. And one thing's for sure, this channel will not tolerate any hateful language anymore. I'm keeping my word to you all. I want everything to change. And trust me, I hope other channels will do the same as well. And I know that things change for the worse, but maybe they'll get better. And if they don't, then I don't know anymore. And I really don't want to talk about this ever again, but it must be discussed. Otherwise, everything that I've just said on the record will not be taken seriously. I know I've rambled on for too much, but I needed to say what I had to say. And my last point I want to mention that I brought up earlier in the video was, again, Jason, if you are watching this, I hope the combined union will stick together, and that's what I'm calling it. I think that's the appropriate name for the group. The combined union. I think if we keep it that way, then things will have the old Roger and Ebert, whoever it was. Anybody remember those old movie review guys? 2 thumbs up. That's what I would hope for. That's what I would hope for, the perfect ending. And all differences must be put aside. And I'm glad they are. And I'm glad our nightmare is finally over. And I hope, for one, that I can have Jason on this channel for a summit one day. It would be an honor to have that happen. And one last thing I want to mention is that, I've said hurtful things about Fernando Ferrer, but I will be very clear about this. That I will only criticize him on his behavior. That's why I will only criticize him on. If he's acting out of line in a meeting like he was last month, again, I'm going to call him out on that. Because I, again, know the corporate way. I've seen it myself. And trust me, you don't want to have bad confrontations with your coworkers. So, also give a message to Freddie that, again, if you act out of line on Monday or on Wednesday, I'm calling you out. Because I also want to mention the MTA must change too. In terms of, being fair. And intimidation is the right word. Fernando, you're the acting chairman. Alright? Well, you were the acting chairman. You're now vice chairman again. You get one more chance from me. You get one more chance. Otherwise, again, harsh criticism is coming. Now, I don't like to use the word terminate or fire. And believe me, that's how fair this channel is going to be. I'm going to keep this channel fair no matter what happens in the future. You all have my word. So once again, Fernando Ferrer, if you're watching, please do not yell at board and committee meetings. That's all I'm asking for. Please. Don't need that kind of behavior. Alright, so come to think of it, who else has yelled at meetings recently? I'm trying to think at the moment. I think Charles Mulder did before he left the board. Who else did? I'm trying to think. Nah, Andy Byford never yells. I have to think about that at the moment. Besides Fernando Ferrer and Charles Mulder, what were the last other board meetings who were out of line in a meeting? I have to think. And that's the only two I could think of. Because Charles is the only one that yells a lot next to Fernando Ferrer. Well, then again, Charles is off the board, so Fernando would be the only one left that, sometimes gets himself out of order. But I'm rambling on too much. I'm going to get going. Remember, I'm a fair person. And, if I do see Fernando Ferrer, I would like to have open discussions about how I feel about the MTA. And that's how fair I'm going to be as an individual. Thank you all for watching. Until the next one, please take care.